I got a new nickname for President Trump. You ready? President Peace! Peace! President Peace! He's been getting on the phone and working it. President Peace, it actually works. He's been brokering peace deals all over the place. You know, at any given moment, there are more wars than you think underway in the world. We know about the big ones, but there are small ones too. A big one, Iran-Israel, of course. We know that is over, and its end was expedited by a couple of B-2 bombers. President Trump made peace between Iran and Israel. That is a major win. Did you know that Egypt and Ethiopia have been going at it back and forth? Egypt and Ethiopia? Well, they have for a long time. Who else? Give me more countries. Thailand and Cambodia. They've been going at it. President Trump brought peace to that one as well. I wonder what they were upset about. These guys, some of these countries have centuries-old conflicts, and they erupt from time to time. Rwanda versus Congo, another thing. What is at stake there? I don't know. I don't want to know. But President Trump got on the phone and made it end. India, Pakistan. Also, two countries that have been going at it, tensions for decades and decades and decades. But it was a hot war for a while. He got on the phone and said, no. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, the Egypt-Ethiopia war. I actually saw a smidgen of the after effects in a place called Eritrea a long time ago. Peace, peace. And do we have any more? Kosovo, Serbia. Again? All right. Well, he got on the phone and he worked it and brought that to a close. Peace is breaking out all over the place, and the credit goes to him. You know, he's not afraid to get on the phone and say, you guys got to do this or else. It's called presidential power. It's also called negotiation. It's also called not being a prisoner of the deep state. And I think it's Nobel Peace Prize worthy. That thing right there. Why not? I mean, we'll get to what Obama did in a moment. Caroline Leavitt at the White House today. You know, there's a term for what President Trump is doing here, and I like it. Go ahead.
We have never had a president who wields the full power of the United States to negotiate good deals for our country and its people like President Trump. This is what maximum leverage looks like.
Maximum leverage. Sounds like a heavy metal rock band, but I like it. Maximum leverage. And not afraid. You know, most presidents, they won't commit and they won't pick up the phone because what happens if it doesn't work out? You know, President Trump is trying to make peace between Ukraine and Russia. And yeah, he said, I'm going to make it happen, but it hasn't worked. So everybody points his finger at him. Oh, it hasn't worked. There are some things you risk, right? You don't look perfect, but what's the worst thing? You don't look perfect. Best case scenario, you end a war. He's on a roll. Take a look.
On the peace front, President Trump helped deliver an immediate and unconditional ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. The two countries were engaged in a deadly conflict that had displaced more than 300,000 people until President Trump stepped in to put an end to it. The president spoke directly on the phone with the acting Prime Minister of Thailand and the Prime Minister of Cambodia to inform both leaders that unless they brought their conflict to an end, there would be no trade discussions or agreements with the United States. Almost immediately afterward, a peace was brokered that will save thousands of lives and allowed for trade negotiations with these countries to resume, and they have.
How about that? Getting on the phone and saying, you know what? We mean business. Get to work. Let's end this. Nobody else would ever stake their prestige and status and, quite frankly, break a sweat. Presidents aren't into breaking sweats. Obama, if he didn't look cool, he didn't want to do it. Anyway, a little bit more from Caroline and what's happening all across the world.
The president has now ended conflicts between Thailand and Cambodia, Israel and Iran, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, India and Pakistan, Serbia and Kosovo, and Egypt and Ethiopia. This means President Trump has brokered, on average, about one peace deal or ceasefire per month during his 6 months in office. It's well past time that President Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
The Nobel Peace Prize. All these things he's accomplished and the second non-consecutive term. Look at Obama. That guy, He was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize on January 21st of 2009, which was one day after taking office, and it was accepted. He got it in October. Next, please. It's crazy. He was the, what did he do? He beat John McCain. That's it. Didn't end any wars. Just kept one going. Didn't close Guantanamo Bay and anything. Just kept it all going. Anyway, what are you going to do, right? You have to go all the way over to Sweden and Norway to pick that thing up. I don't think President Trump wants to go, although maybe he does. All right. You heard about their major breakthroughs. We're learning all about the deep state corruption and how they targeted President Trump in 2016, 2017, 18, 19, all the way since. But I want to talk about his campaign in 15 and 16. It was very simple. It was pure. It was kind of innocent in an interesting way. Going out there and talking directly to the people, talking about ideas that they liked, and talking about things that maybe weren't totally popular, but he made them popular. He just brought it to the people. Meantime, what did his opponents do? They plotted, they schemed, they didn't go to the people, they hate the people. And they knew they had a major problem on their hands. Hillary. You can't, Hillary? No. We got to cheat a little bit if we got Hillary hanging around because she has big problems. We now know what they knew about Hillary, and we should have known too at the time. Clinton was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. Clinton was placed on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. The CIA had this kind of information. President Obama and party leaders found the state of Secretary Clinton's health to be extraordinarily alarming, and after the yellow, we're going to continue to read, and felt it could have a serious negative impact on her election prospects. Her health information was being kept in strictest secrecies, and even close advisors were not being fully informed. I think we deserve to know, don't you? So we have something new. I left mine downstairs. It's called the appendix to the Durham report, which I also left downstairs. The Durham report was to investigate Crossfire Hurricane, all kinds of issues with that report. The guy was kind of wimpy, quite frankly, didn't want to pull the trigger on all of his swamp friends. There were some curious things learned, but some very serious things that he did not let the people see. They uncovered this note. Durham had it. All right, there's the email. Let's blow it up a little bit so everybody can read the thing, if you don't mind. Can we? Here we go. HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email. Okay, wow. The point is making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue. Say something like a critical infrastructure threat for the election. All right, is there more? Keep going. That's all we got. Anyway, it's explosive stuff. It was written by a think tank guy, but the question was raised by the FBI, hey, this might be disinformation. I don't think it's disinformation, but they didn't totally trust it because it said something bad about Hillary. It said that Hillary Clinton would try a campaign to distract from her own email issues, remember the server, by accusing President Trump of colluding with the Russians. That was their plan. And when people saw this memo, they shared it. They said, hey, do you remember this? Do you remember this? These are the things they said. Well, that doesn't sound like me. That's ridiculous. Who's Julie? I wouldn't say that. Russia wrote it. That's disinformation. However, a few people said, well, maybe, but I don't remember. Maybe we talked about how to defeat, maybe we talked about this plan to blame Russia for everything to cover up Hillary Clinton's email issues, but I don't remember. Jake Sullivan, I remember him. He helped lose the war in Afghanistan, national security advisor to Joe Biden and also Hillary Clinton's top senior policy advisor in the 2016 campaign. Sullivan could not recall articulating a strategy or plan to distract negative attention away from Clinton to tying Trump to Russia, but could not conclusively rule out the possibility. I'll take that as confirmation. Thank you very much, Jake Sullivan. Of course, that's what you guys were doing. Now, we heard vibrations about this actually a couple of years ago, but now we have this great big, previously classified footnote section, the appendix to Durham report, and it's fascinating. And I'm going through it, and I want to actually take my time because sometimes this stuff can be rushed. And it's about 100 pages. You want to make sure you get it right. I will say this. Durham failed the American people. And I think he did it because he was more loyal to the swamp and the establishment, and he probably had a tinge of Trump derangement syndrome. And Matt Gaetz, who's great on television, I hear, because the schedule doesn't really work with mine, but I miss him in Congress, don't you?
I'm kind of wondering, and it just seems so facially obvious that it's not what's in your report that's telling, it's the omission, it's the lack of work you did. And for the people like the chairman who put trust in you, I think you let them down, I think you let the country down, and you are one of the barriers to the true accountability that we need.
You're damn right. You're damn right about that. And just remember, everybody, it's Hillary Clinton who gave secrets to the Russians, potentially. Secrets to the Russians came from Hillary Clinton's email. Jim Comey made that pretty clear when he had that bizarre press conference. Hillary Clinton had a private server, kept her Blackberries all over the place. Huma Abedin was losing laptops and letting other people access them. She provided there was a real national security threat. Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. Watch.
She also used her personal email extensively while outside the United States, including sending and receiving work-related emails in the territory of sophisticated adversaries. Given that combination of factors, we assess it is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
I'll take that as confirmation. I really will. So what's the difference here? What's going on? So this note that was just released in the Durham Annex, people talking about, well, let's blame Trump and colluding with Russia to cover up for Hillary's own email problems. But this wasn't released at the time because maybe it's fake. There's a chance it's fake. But the Steele dossier, that made big news. And it's all over these intelligence reports, all over. They relied on that thing. They use it as a pretext to try to sabotage President Trump's entire term in office, term 1. So it's more proof of the hellacious treatment of a duly elected president, something Hillary Clinton will never be, by the way.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.